Important things when working on a Mini: a cup of tea and a fire extinguisher. I think previously mentioned, ECU's in place, washer bottles in place, wipers in place, horns in place, so we could do the wiring for this side now. And once I've done that, we can test the Mini loom, make sure that's all okay, we can trim it behind the dash, and that's sorted. That's brilliant. Probably add some modern relays and fuses. The next episode we'll talk about cooling, and I'll start getting cooling in. It's tempted to kind of get all the shiny bits in, but I need to make sure this is all working and fine. The ECU, if it goes any further back, it actually doesn't make any difference with bonnet clearance. That's as low as I can get it. So we've done a little bonnet clearance here. You can just see it over there. A little bit of a bonnet clearance. We've got to do some other work on the bonnet to finish it, so that's fine. That's all good and dandy. So let's get on now. We're going to get the wire in, the Mini wire in. We're going to see how much we need from point there in there to all the other items. Cut it back, trim it, make the plug, get it sorted. Okay, so that's the loom from there done. It wraps around, it will tuck behind there, goes to the horn, tucks round, comes up to there, goes to there, wiggles its way down to the reverse sensor. So now we just need to do the other side of the wiring for both sides. That's behind the dashboard, and then we can test it all. Winning! So we'll do a full run in a moment, all the lights. But we're just working on the indicators to get all the little bits right before we do your demo. We've been doing bulbs that were random. I'd not even noticed there were the wrong bulbs in places, etc. But one little thing is bugging. Is that the little light don't work there. There's meant to be a light, like for instance there, or there's meant to be one there. The ignition's not on, I don't think. No, the ignition's not on. Anyway, I want to fix that. So when I just pop this out, we've got this tiny, and when I mean tiny little bulb. So let's just try and put you down gently. There we go. You can enjoy the clicking of a relay that actually works now. So we also fitted a new relay. If you remember the previous episode, couldn't get these indicators to work consistently or in any decent fashion. But be gentle on these because they feel like they're about to fall apart. They're so brittle. So I did have this one apart before. So that goes there. Get a new one out. Sometimes it's the connections. There's a pin both sides on these for the light, and then the pins obviously for actually controlling the system that this switch works on. There must be a special tool or a less fiddly way of doing this, surely. I wonder if this piece flicks off easy enough, I don't know. Expect if we manage to get the rocker out. Plug this back on here. And then plug the little wires. And there, like that. And one goes that side, and one goes that side. And then this goes like that, I hope. Oh, hello. Check that out. Oh, yeah. Ooh, locked. There we go. Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Upside down, but beautiful. Right. Let's give it a full demonstration of some epic working lights. Winning! See what we got, shall we? So, ignition is sort of forward based, but we'll initiate the ignition with the ignition still on this loom, probably from a secondary wire on the relay anyway. So what do we have at the front? Lefty indicator, righty indicator, very nice. A little flash of the main beam, cheeky. Side lights, dipped beam, main beam, much niceness. Flashy indicators, very nice. Inside to the cabin here, rear screen heated. And we also have our brake check. That light comes on if the brake fluid's low, and this is also a quick check that the brake lights are working. Why you can't just put your foot on the brake, I don't know, but we'll come to that later. What else at the front? Horn. Washers. Huh. Wipers. Evidence. And it stops where it should, which is also a problem fixed. Winning. So let's check out the back, shall we? Do a quick backlight check. So rear lights, we have obviously hazard light, we have left indicator, right indicator, simples, we have side lights, we have fog light, which I think comes on only with dipped beam. There we go. And a little indicator. Very nice. We might have to improve on the LED bulb around the back there, but that's what that is. And then brake lights on the foot pedal. Brake light on, brake light off, brake light on, brake light off, brake light on, brake light off. Woohoo! All the mini electrics work. We have one final thing, two final things actually to wire in. Interior lights, just need to get the little plugs for the sides for switching on and off from the doors. And we're just going to finish the loom here for this. We have the wiring, we have the plug. Plug, wiring. Let's do that now. 2-speed blower motor, baby. Ooh, a little breezy. Woohoo, tornado! On my feet, maybe I want it on the windscreen. Maybe I want a bit of both. Or just my feet, or just the windscreen, or not at all. Or windscreen, or a bit of both, or feet. Can't have your face though. For face freshness, just leave your windscreen out. Okay, so if you can see clearly enough, we've got a couple of earth points there, M6 points for electrical, and the wiring harness for the Mini, and a little tab at the bottom to hold the wiring that will go across there. Lots of scorch marks and stuff that we're going to be clearing up at some point, don't worry, don't panic about that. Another tab there for doing the same thing, and then we've got 3 plugs here. The 2-pin is for sort of 2 things on their own. It's a rear heated screen and no idea what the other one is. Oh, interior light. And then the 6-pin one is all the lights for the back, and the 4-pin is the fuel tank. So that's all nice and tucked up in there. They've got some new tabs to hold the wire in place, and some little bits to ready to go. And then the other end of that wiring harness is just free for now, because that'll go into the Ford harness. So that's golden. And then on the flip front, what we've managed to do here is get all the tabs in place that are going to hold the wire in. So we got a couple of tabs on the inner wing to hold the indicator wiring, which would normally kind of come across when you had an inner wing, and then tabs to kind of help keep it in place as it goes across. And then same thing down there, basically just some more tabs, nothing fancy, just to hold the wiring in place, inner wing, and then around the light, and then just before it kicks off there's a little one there, back to there. And then we've added one on this the cross member that supports to hold the wire in there, and a little bit of rubber's gone in there. We'll glue a little piece in finally, just so it doesn't rub along there for any vibrations, and that's good to go. So I've been busy with the wiring, the mini wiring side of things, sort of the original loom, and we are almost there, finished with it, waiting for a little fuse box to come, and Z wants the ball thrown. Anyway, so over in the far corner we have 3 relays. That's the lighting relay, a sort of circuit relay, and indicator relay. Behind that, I've already shown you, is the bulkhead fitment to go for the front lights. Not now, Ziggy, filming. That goes into the loom, which is going to sit underneath this section. Got an earth point coming up there for the whole loom, basically. and then that goes off into wipers, horn and washers and sensors for reverse and brake fluid. These two plugs go to the rear lights circuit and rear heated screen and interior light. The interior light switches we're just yet to do, that's one little thing, they're just waiting for those to arrive and then we can wire them in. And then all the wiring basically comes down to here. Now I know this doesn't look quite right, but you know, it'll be alright. Basically these wires will go onto the second fuse box that's going to go here. These are just two circuits that need fusing, and they had like inline fuses and I don't like those, so they're going to sit there. And then two are going to be permanent lives. These are basically horn and hazards, I think was one other thing. Hang on, take my paperwork. Horn, interior light and hazards. Those three will be permanent live fused, and then this is basically going to be a power, which is here. This is going to go into the forward circuit, and when the ignition one comes on, this circuit fires up, and we've got three fuses in at the moment, multicoloured because it looks pretty. Don't know if it's functional, and one left to connect, and that will be for the stereo. So the stereo will get one other permanent live, obviously for memory, and then a live there for other things. So that's basically the loom in place. I'm pretty happy with it. It means basically as much of it is out of the way as possible, because we now need to get a forward loom in here, and there's like two massive boxes, all sorts going on with like BSIs and everything. It's all got to try and fit behind here, and I want to try and put a glove box here. We have a shallow little Bluetooth stereo retro thing coming. It's pretty cheap, probably pretty nasty, but it'll do the job. And then we'll have a speaker at either end, a little shallow 4 inches. So it gives us hopefully as much room as we possibly need, but we'll soon find out. While doing other things, which I'm not going to talk about, back to wiring. To finish this wiring off, we need to put the red and the blue loop through a fuse. We've fitted the fuse box, second fuse box here now. Basically different purposes. This fuse box is all ignition on power. This fuse box has two loops going through it and two wire feeds which will have a permanent live. Fused but permanent live. So that's this one and this one. So we're just going to terminate them on this side, and on this side we'll have those two going in, and then we'll do the loops on this side probably as well. I don't know which way around, just connect these up somehow, and then all the digitals will go right. Alright, hopefully you can just see under there. It's not finished. Sort of more finished than probably it was left from the factory, but not finished for me. We've got the wires that loop around here, they'll all be taped. So we have the all feeds that go in, the two that loop round the back, and these two which supply a main permanent live via fuses. So all we're going to do now is we're going to plug in all the looms for the Mini, and use touch switch on the battery, and see if it all works. All the lights, the horn, wipers, interior switches, interior light, it all works off this as it should, and well, we'll know then, won't we, if it does or not. So obviously our setup is a little bit temporary here, because the forward loom isn't in here, and the forward loom will provide our permanent live and our switched live, but for now we've got them safely connected up down there, nice and close to an earth, just so you know you're alive. And when we just connect, or just connect rather than disconnect, let me do that now. Boing. If we just connect up this one, yeah, that basically means that certain stuff don't work and certain stuff will work. See, certain stuff does, certain stuff doesn't. Brake tester does, hazards do, but indicators don't. It'll be a permanent live for stereo and horn. So just sort of safety stuff and stereo, because that's important. And then if we connect up the second one, you might just be able to hear the ignition relay click. So we'll just, safely. Yeah, that's just how it was from the factory. So you hear that? So that's basically ignition relay here that comes on. So we've got the usual stuff, but we've also got things like The heated rear screen, which obviously is functioning just beautifully, as you can see, it's nice and clear. Hazards, we knew that worked already. Sides, you can just see a difference. And then dipped and main, flash and hold. Lefty indicator, righty indicator. Wipery wiper. And then wash. I don't know if that's meant to be the case, that it doesn't wipe and wash at the same time. We'll try and fix that at some point, but I haven't got any one-way resistors so that we can, that'll do that and it'll do a single wipe at the same time or something like that. But for now I'm happy. And reverse and fog light also works. I'll just turn that on, there we go. Fog light on. I'm going to show you, just so you don't think I'm lying. I've got reverse and fog there, so it's a bit blurred, but sides, all a bit dull. Battery's probably dead, all my wiring's rubbish, but it's all good, all works. And what that means now, let's take off the power so we don't melt stuff, is all my mini wiring works. The two plugs at the bulkhead work, the plugs that go to the rear work. One thing we haven't tested, interior light, so we better fix that problem. You know, that is crucial for getting the project done, is that when you open your doors, your interior light comes on, especially in the summer when it goes dark at 11 PM. So let's see if we can sort that out now, get them functioning. Important things. So all the complexities of the Mini, the interior light. You have one of these in either door, which makes contact when the door is open with earth, and then closes the contact when you shut the door. And an interior light gives a permanent live there, and then these two here, one is a switched earth by the doors, and the other one you flick it across and you hit the earth and you get an interior light. So we have three wires just behind here. We have the wires to the doors. Let's fit these babies and see if we can make it all work. So if ever I can get rid of the self-tapping screw on this machine, I will. They have their place, but I really just don't like them. They just introduce, in my opinion, rust, or a chance for us to get in. So we're going to be putting a rivet knot in this thing. This won't even fit in there at the moment, so we're just going to zip zip, open up, zip zip, and get that rivet knot in there, and that'll look real nice. And we won't be lacquering it on there, and that's the problem with the self-tapping screw here. You can't lacquer it all in and sort of grease it up, because you need a contact between this and earth. So yeah, I'll show you what I've got in a second. So here's our little setup. We've got our little M5 rivet knot in there. And we didn't put the little usual, you know, nail varnish around it, because we need a good contact. M5 stainless nut, looking fancy. And then the two parts, the rubber seal, etc. So if we can put this together, or we put a modern connection on it too. So this can be done, but I probably can't do it one-handed. Let's try it. Come on. Yeah, nearly there. Oh yeah. I want to get my teeth involved. Teeth might be holding the camera in a minute. So there we go. Sorry. This is amazing cinematography, this. Right. And then we need to feed that through there first. Obviously, otherwise you'll never get that on there. Smart design. I'll have to make sure those don't catch all the time. And the door shuts and opens. Right, this I can't do one-handed. Pops onto there like that. And it does rotate round, which is quite nice. So it'll go anywhere we want it to. Which is sort of across and down a bit. Like that. You can't see what I'm talking about. Probably still can't. One-handed is not easy, man. No jokes. It's always better with two hands. That's why we were designed with two hands. I think four would be too many, you know? Like, feet are just fine as feet. I don't need two more hands. I just need two. I do like these M5 stainless bolts. Using them everywhere. I've got some tiny little M4 ones for the wheel arches. So she's good to go. Right, let's plug that lot in with this, sort of just, and see if it works. Realise every victory outright. It might be an absolute tip. The engine might not be running right at this moment. I might have dozens of things to do that are more important, include playing fetch. But when I open the door, the interior light comes on. Oh yeah. That's important. So important. In summer, when it's only dark for 4 hours, that is a win. Oh yeah! Victory! It's actually the last bit of the wiring on the Mini to have victory, so other than stereo, I haven't quite wired that up yet. It's good positioning, sound down, but I just need to wire it up. Yeah. The Mini loom, so everything that the engine doesn't need to run, basically, is in place. We have lights, we have wipers, we have washers, we have horn, we have interior light, rear lights, and even we know they have started other wiring, but the other wiring's in place too. So that's golden. It's really good. I'm pleased with that. I'm going to start trying to tidy up this bulkhead a little bit now. So we're going to patch these. So next episode, we're going to patch these holes in the flitch panels, finish off this corner here. I'm going to try and finish off these corners because they sort of are unfinished. Inner wings obviously you would normally wrap round and they don't, so we need to finish off these corners. I'm basically going to bring them in to right up to here and obviously fill this gap there. I also want to run a gutter edge here on both sides and a gutter edge along both sides of there where the bonnet then will overlap, and then we've got some final little modifications to the bonnet to make and one final modification here to make. We need to make this a little bit neater and a little bit better. I need to open up this gap here for intercooler air, and I want to kind of make a little bit of an extension to this because the air filter is going to go sort of here, so I want to bring some air in here for where the air filter is going to go. And then we can start fitting arches, so we might do a bit of body work now. We'll return to that, I think, and then we're going to get onto the cooling, so it's radiator and intercooler. So there we go. We have lots to do. It's a bit overwhelming when I think too much about it, but we take one job at a time. So the next one is going to fill in those holes in the flitch panels, finish the two corners, and finish off all the little bits on here that need altering, filling, old holes for the hinges, etc. Let's get all that done, and then we have the bodywork ready for Max, basically, and the bonnet, of course. And then it's all ready to go. Cool! So I'm trying to use a better camera now. I'm hoping this is going to help. We've had some issues with the image stabilization on the other one, so apologies for that. Although this is about 20 episodes in after I realised, so apologies. But hey ho, cool things. Let's go and get on and have a cup of tea. The camera's like allowing it to be light, but it's actually getting pretty dark out there. Bats are coming out. Time for me to go in. What do you think, Ziggy? Think good? That's what she thinks of that.